houses are better. The house can be less expensive because if your RV breaks down or if you need gas, it's very expensive. Plus, all the water and grocery and electric bills. You don't have to worry about being stuck in the middle of a desert or anywhere that you don't have cell service, so you can call someone to help you, like AAA. The pros of owning a house are you're allowed to have the flexibility of having a pet, and if you have enough room in the backyard, you can have a garden. Plus, you can change or remodel your house as you please. You can't do that with an RV because like some of the furniture is built in with it. And you can have a location of your choice with the house. If you find a nice area for your house, you can keep it. And you can keep it there if you like it. With an RV, you might have to move. You move a lot.
In this debate, we are debating on which is better to live in, a house or an RV. We are starting with the house. If you own a house, you get to have a front and backyard. So if you have kids, they can play. They can have a place to play. A yard could have a play set or other items to play on. A yard also gives you a place for animals to play. Also, if you own a house, you get a lot more space to live in if you have a large family. A house usually has more than one restroom. This gives families more personal space. Also, there are more bedrooms in a house. This means people don't have to sleep in the same bedroom or share a room. Houses also may have more closet space or to store clothing or food. Kitchens in a house are usually larger than ones in an RV. This gives families more storage space for dishes and foods. Houses often have separate living rooms. This gives families a place to spend time, personal space. A house stays in one place for a family to come home to. To build relationships with a house also gives a stable place for family to come home to, so they can build relationships with people around them. If you live in a house, you get mail delivered to you at your house. This also gives you a stable address for people to get in touch with you. In a home, you have more space for things like a 60-inch TV, a PlayStation, and an Xbox, or other fun, family-oriented technology. I find it much better to live in a house because of all these reasons.
These reasons could, all these reasons could go along with why a house is better because, like Layton said, in an RV, it's very tight. You don't, say you have a big, large family. You don't have enough room to, you would have to share bedrooms and bathrooms. But if you're in a house, you can have your own room. You can use your own bathroom, so you don't have to share with other people. Like in the mornings, you're all crammed up in one bathroom. And with living space, if you have more living space, it gives you a chance to, say your parents just got home from work. You all can gather in the living room and talk about how your day went, or what's coming up, what's the events that is going to take place later on. And if you have a backyard or a front yard, you can have friends over and play sports, or just play on a swing set, or just have a nice bonfire in the back. But in an RV, you travel from one place to another. And usually the places that an RV stops are RV lots. And you can't really, you gather as one big, because there's multiple RVs circle the wagons.
I guess. All right, Davis group, your 5 minutes when you get started, when you're ready. I don't know why you're telling me this now. No? That's what you're supposed to do during those 45 minutes.
RVs versus houses.
RVs are way better than houses because there's many reasons for it. If you have an RV, you don't have to pay mortgages. Like you may have to pay a couple bills, but there's some you don't have to pay. And it runs off the battery, the electricity, and other things. But I've heard we're going pretty much last, and I've heard a lot of things like they may cost more than a house, but houses definitely would cost more over the years because they're saying everything about gas prices. If you live in a house, how do you get to school? You need a car, so you're also using gas, and you're paying for your house. But when you have an RV, you just pay for one. And so it's a lot cheaper than a house. Maybe at first you would be a little low on cash, but after a year, I bet that the person with the house would have less cash, less money to use.
An RV is really good for trips because it has more space than a car, and if you have a house and not an RV and you go in the car and have a trip, after like a while when you get up, your feet start to be numb. With this, you don't have to work with the RV. It has more space than a car, so you can walk around and you won't be numb. And like they said about the pets, it's not that big of a deal because you can just park in a parking lot. And that's what we do during my road trips. We park in a parking lot, and then there's usually grass over here for us to play with our pets. So we can do that, and there's parking lots everywhere, so you don't really have to worry about the bathroom issue much.
And people were saying there's not parking spaces. They take up more parking spaces, which are right. But when we go on field trips here at school, we take a bus, and there are certain parking places for the bus to park, and that's where the RV will park too. So there are places for RVs to park, so the parking space issue is not a very big deal.
Yeah, and plus it does not take up 3 spaces.
If you have an RV, you have a 2-in-1 deal because an RV is like mixed in with the car and a house. The RV still has all the supplies, regular house stuff like a microwave, oven, stove, bathrooms, and beds, just like a house. And so, and if you have a tornado coming to your house, then how would you leave quickly because you have a car, then if you get valuable items in your house and you want to pack them up and keep them safe, then it would take time to pack it up in the car. And so that time the storm or tornado might be coming close to you, but in an RV you already have your items in your vehicle, and so you just can go the opposite direction the storm is coming.
And I heard some people talking about how, what if your RV got damaged? Well, you could flip that around too. You can just drive away from the storm, but your house has to stay there. So if the storm comes and wrecks your house, where are you going to stay? It's going to cost a lot of money to get your house rebuilt. And an RV, it's a lot less likely for it to get wrecked because one, it's smaller. It's smaller than a house. Two, you can drive away from the storm. And that's, yeah.
You can't get wrecked much because, I don't think a tiny little car like that will be brave enough to pull out in front of a big RV kind. So Yeah. And here's another pro. You can get things done a lot faster. Like if you drop your kid off somewhere and you can just like park outside the dry lines, and if you want you to see the game or something, you can watch that while you're.
Thank you, guys. When you're all situated, Zayda, you're going to ask the first question. You pick who you want to pick. Okay? And then we'll go from there. Make sure everybody gets a chance. And then when you hear me say, you can just start firing. Then anybody can talk for the last little bit. Okay, go ahead.
Sarah, say if you have a storm coming your way and you have a house, what would you do?
Well, you mentioned it was tornadoes. Some tornadoes, they don't have. Sometimes they can leave one house destroyed, but then the house right next to it, it will be perfect. And if it's far enough away, most storms don't last too long, so you'll probably be okay.
Okay. Sarah, your question.
Andrew, what would you do if you ran out of gas or broke down in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I've heard questions like that before. Like, if you have an RV, it's so big, and cars don't really, most people don't have spare tires or spare engines or anything in their trunk. But an RV, you can have spare parts in case something breaks down. You should always be prepared, and most people are.
Your question, Andrew.
Jackson. What? Like Sarah said, a tornado can rip up the house right next to you. Yours can be just fine, but you'd be in a terrible neighborhood. What if all the roads were blocked from all the rubble? You couldn't be able to get in and out of your groceries get in and out of your neighborhood for groceries. How would you?
Say I looked up on the internet and I saw a radar. Before, I would give myself some time before the storm comes. I'd go get all the food I need, anything I need for that, and afterwards.
But radars, you don't know how severe it's going to be and exactly where it's going to hit. It could hit, a tornado could hit, a neighborhood behind you, and they're very unpredictable. We can predict it, but not very by the wind, but it could easily change course, and you could have misread.
Yes, but why? Say you're in your house, you're like, oh, don't worry about that, it's right behind me. What if its course did change? You'd be in big trouble. But if you got all your supplies, your food and stuff like that,
How would you know? Because you just check the radar, it
You
changes,
have-
you have all your supplies.
you have to be careful. Either way, you should still do it because just to be safe.
But a lot of people don't.
Okay, Jackson, your question, right?
Colin, say, like Sarah said, you get stuck in the middle of nowhere. How would you react to that?
In an RV, you basically, then your house is still there. And you can call a tow truck even if you are in the middle of nowhere. It'll take a while, but you still have all your food, your supplies, so you can wait there because the RV is basically like a house. And if the gas runs out in the middle of nowhere, you'll still have that house until the tow truck comes and pulls you away.
But say you ate all your food and you.
Jackson, wait, we'll have time to go back to that. Cullen, I think you have to ask a question, Brady.
Braden, what would happen if there was a big